EPE exit exam lowered. Dwight Hutchinson wins Gen Y factor. Boat captain drowns off Norman Island.
Increments to be paid by the new government. The Back to Sea initiative launched, and Dreams Division's second annual conference a major success. These and more stories when 284 News returns. When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Welcome everybody, it's Tuesday, June 25th, 2019. We're coming to you live and direct from our beautiful 284 Media Studios. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Javon Wilson, welcome.
We have a lot going on this week. Topping our headlines today, EPE pass mark has been lowered. The Ministry of Education this week, through the acting principal of the Elmore Stout High School, announced that the EPE exit exam pass mark has been lowered. This announcement, of course, came with a lot of queries and concerns by persons in the general public. Originally, it was 55%, then raised to 60 by the predecessor government, and now back to 50 again by the new administration. Jovan, it's very interesting because when the announcement came, persons started, venting and sharing the concerns, and it's very interesting. What are your thoughts?
I think it did come with major backlash, but we were seeing again another situation where all sides of the spectrum needs to be considered. Why is this under review, and why does it come a mere few days before graduation? So a lot of concern here. Most persons have condemned it. They feel like we're setting our students up for failure. However, equally, I've seen on social media some teachers speaking out against it. So again, we have to look at all the sides considered.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting that you said the announcement came just before graduation, because what I found is that valedictory service was held on Sunday. The students received these results yesterday, Monday, and graduation is obviously on Thursday. So it's a very tight timeline.
Right.
But then obviously when we look at the situation, we realize that the results were probably delayed because of the new remarks by the Ministry of Education. So we're going to jump to a quick clip by the acting principal where she made comments as it pertains to the exit EPE exam. Take a look.
We had some statistics that I shared with you that said that 14 of our students did not pass the EPE exam. Since then, the government has seen it fit to drop the pass mark to 50%, which is what you are accustomed of working for. And so an EPE pass is now 50%, and with that we have 9 new passes, which is wonderful. Additionally, they reported if you have only failed the EPE, meaning you have all your credits and you have your community service, but you have failed the EPE exam, you can actually walk, but you will get your diploma when you pass the exam later. So we have 153 students in grade 12, 77 boys, 76 girls. We have 11 students, which represent 7.19%, who are not meeting at least one of the graduation requirements. It means we have an overall pass rate of 92.81%. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, I must note though, of that 11 students that we have not meeting requirements, 3 of them have dropped out basically. We are really at 8 students who have been coming to school regularly who will not meet graduation requirements right now. Another proud moment for this class, we have 88 students. If you're doing the math, that's more than half of the class. It represents 57.5% of the students who are on the honor roll. Good job. And our top 7 positions actually have high honors.
Now, one of the things we hear Principal Garraway saying in the remarks, Jovan, is that 88 of these students are on the honor roll. Now, that's all fine and good, and of course, congratulations to those students. But it's interesting to now celebrate that, knowing that it's been lowered. So, in my mind, and I'm sure in the mind of a lot of persons, we're wondering, is that particularly accurate? But I do congratulate the students, and I'll say this, as an educator myself, someone that works with children, I do understand that students have a very difficult time sometimes grasping concepts, and at the end of the day, we want to give them the best opportunity to get a good grade, and to also, you know, if they did not get something right the first time, they can do it again. So in my thought process, I'm wondering, why did we lower instead of perhaps giving them
a second
chance? But we'll see. I know the ministry has not officially said anything as yet.
Right. But I know there's some inconsistencies. I think that's one of the prime concerns. The fact that every other test is 50%, your general pass grade is 50%. However, with this test, it's 60%. Another thing is, I think there's a lot of stress that comes with this exam,
I agree.
knowing that whatever grades you come into at this point in time, you come into the exams with, it becomes irrelevant because if you are not able to pass the EPA test, essentially you are not allowed to walk at graduation. So I do understand it brings on a lot of stress.
Students are under extreme amount of pressure.
I agree. I think, too, it was a little irresponsible, this announcement being made by the principal of a specific school, considering it will affect students across the board. The minister, like you said, he's yet to come forward with an official statement.
Or ministry officials.
Right. But I did reach out to the ministry, and we were told that a statement is forthcoming today. So let's see what the minister has to say regarding this matter.
All right. Being paid. Tell us about that.
All right, so we know for sure this is one of the things the government has been trying to champion ever since they came into power.
Yes.
Increments being paid. So coming out of a recent cabinet meeting, we see the government would have approved the 2016 increments and also made a commitment to pay the 2017 increments as well. So Ron, this is definitely a welcomed initiative by the people. What do you think about that?
Well, as a former civil servant myself, I know how hard government officials work, and I think it's quite disheartening for persons to work in a system year after year, and one, not only get increments, but two, sometimes appraisals are not even done, evaluations are not even conducted. So I think this is something that we really have to look for in our system as it pertains to how we're evaluating and how we're measuring person's performance. If I'm not getting my increments and I'm not getting a regular appraisal and evaluation, how do I know that perhaps I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing? So I think it's disheartening and it's almost degrading. So I'm happy that the present government has been able to do that. I know over the political season, lots of persons, both on the government and opposition, they spoke about it, and they spoke about wanting to introduce those increments. So I think it's a well-needed thing, and we're happy that it's finally coming to fruition.
I agree with you. There were two options presented in cabinet. Either they were allowed to pay the monies in a lump sum, or in this case, like I said, pay the 2016 with a commitment to the 2017 by the next budget cycle. And we have to take into considerations what our public officers have gone through over the last few years, especially post-Irma. They would have had to work in deplorable conditions, and they still continue to. And that's why I'm very happy to hear that these increments comes without a performance appraisal. I mean, at this point, we realize they have done the work. They deserve the monies to be paid. Indeed. So we're looking forward to that. On the other hand, Premier did condemn the past administration, making a pledge just a mere few days before the elections. I think it was on February 17th, which is a few days before the last elections. Past Honorable Myron Walwyn made a pledge to pay the increments by March 15th. However, the Premier did say upon heading into office that there was no evidence of that. The monies were not budgeted for. So ultimately, those were empty promises. He also reached out to the Human Resources Department at the Ministry of Finance, who said they were not aware of it at all. So in this case, the only thing we saw happening in regards to increments being paid is the BVI Ports Authority. They were the only set of public officers to receive any amount of increment. But the then chairman of the board, the BVI Port Authority board, he did mention that this was not politically motivated in any way, and this was a decision by the board. Again, we have to look at the circumstances. I mean, at election time, so many pledges and promises are being made, and
Promises were made all around,
Right,
definitely. You
right.
know, and it's
And-
interesting now that it's coming to fruition. But then at the time, person saying it's they want money. So I think we find ourselves sometimes in a little bit of a he say she say.
Yes.
When it comes to what's there and what's not there. But again, thankfully, the persons of the civil service are going to at least begin getting increments. Up next, we have Dwight Hutchinson. He wins the Gen Y Factor and Back to the Sea initiative set to strengthen the local marine industry. Stay tuned, everyone. You're watching 284 Media. Get online today with CCT Go Fast LTE. Simply select from any one of our Go Fast LTE plan options. Each plan offers unlimited wireless residential internet and are priced to suit your budget and required data speed. Stop by any one of our locations and speak with one of our representatives and get online with Go Fast LTE, the BVI's preferred choice for reliability, speed, and affordability. CCT Life Unlimited. Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. All right, Jovan, over the weekend, welcome back everyone. Over the weekend, we had an exciting night at the Gen Y Factor.
Yes.
We saw a plethora of talent. I mean, the singing was simply amazing, both on the male side and female side. And of course,
a battle of the sexes, which I loved about this year's competition. There was a T-shirt they had, and I think that this general slogan for this year's competition was, anything you can do, I can do better. So it boiled down to, again, the male against the female, and it was
phenomenal.
Remarkable.
At the end of the evening, of course, we had Dwight Hutchinson, who emerged as the winner. He convinced the judges that he is, the Gen Y Factor. He went home with a cash prize of $2,000, and he also spoke about having hopes of releasing a gospel album, which I found absolutely fascinating.
I do.
I love music, and we love gospel music here at 284 Media. But to see a young man, leading and putting his attention into that direction was quite flattering, to say the least.
I'm especially proud of Dwight because this is beyond his comfort zone. Like, he has never competed in any form
That's
of
true.
competition in his life. I mean, he always says, music is, his ministry. He loves to sing gospel. It's his language to God and to the world.
He definitely spoke that language at the multipurpose sports complex on Saturday night. Yes.
And another thing I'd like to commend the entire team on is the service that was received at the multipurpose sports complex. VIP service. I mean, I was downstairs for first, and eventually I made my way upstairs, realizing that the VIP service was to the T. We had some persons volunteering from the Premier's office, serving wine, drinks, whatever you wanted. But outside of that, the elements, the in-between elements of the production, I mean, entirely, it was seamless. Very proud.
Well, again, we see that the Virgin Islands has just a large amount of talent, young talent. Dwight actually stopped by our 284 Media studios, and he had a few things to say about winning the competition as well as how he felt. So take a look at this clip.
It feels wonderful. It feels awesome, amazing, and I'm entirely grateful for it. And leading up to it, to be honest with you, I wanted to quit. I wanted to drop out because I was having a bit of a spiritual warfare per se. But after speaking to some spiritual advisors that I have, found new purpose in the competition. So, yeah. I can't say for sure specifically who contributed anything or everything, but what I must do is give thanks and appreciate all those who took part from the head to the bottom, starting with Miss Brenda Tyletsom. She was amazing, supportive of everyone in every way. Kareem always being centered and keeping us on our toes, always going. Brent and the musicians, Akima, my stylist, couldn't do it without you, man. Couldn't do it without that at all. And the sponsors as well. I can't give enough thanks to Goodfellas who provided my outfit for the night. as well as elevated.
284 Media, of course, would like to congratulate Dwight on an amazing job. Keep up the good work, buddy.
And all the other contestants who did such a remarkable job. Last weekend as well, we were able to be a part of the Dreams Division Conference. It's the second annual conference following the storms of 2017. Mistress Kyria Christopher, she was determined to lend her voice to the restoration of our powerful people by capitalizing on capacity building. And she's starting with our girls. Ron, again, last Saturday was remarkable.
This is right up your alley.
Definitely. I was honored not only to witness, but honored to present to 97 young ladies between the ages of 12 and 19 who had a wealth, they had a wealth of information to share, and they were exposed to, I think, a lot of women across the board who lend a voice to their platform.
Yeah, female professionals.
Definitely. Take a look. So we saw quite a number of information being shared at the Charm Academy. Importance of optics. We had Miss Body Glam, which is Kedriana Parsons, the owner, sharing with the young ladies a 10-minute demonstration on how to get their makeup done. Fresh face makeup, of course, done. We had personal branding done by Miss Ayana Phillips. For those of you who do not know.
I think that's a great one. Personal branding is very important.
Yes, she is Miss BVI. And ultimately, personal branding, if you're able to, perfect this, then you could get to your career a lot easier. There was relationship building. Dr. Pickering, Kedrick Pickering, he was there speaking to the young ladies about forging profitable relationships, which I found to be very interesting. Etiquette, very important as a young lady. It's very important that you know the importance of etiquette. We had Miss Keisha David Barnes from the After You organization teaching the young ladies about the simple use of a knife and fork, placement of your glass on your table, as well as how to fold a napkin. I think that was by far one of the most interactive parts of the Charm Academy. Last Saturday, they had an actual competition where they had to race to fold a napkin. I myself presented. I presented on the importance of being prepared for an interview, and we know that's technically the next step in their lives.
Of course.
So speaking to not only your parents, but your confidence, and of course, how you should essentially be answering those critical questions.
What was that experience like for you? How did you enjoy it?
It was amazing. Ultimately, what we had to do is conduct 2 mock interviews. And I think both of the young ladies that I interacted with, they both did a great job. And overall, Ron, I think one of the takeaways from this event is the fact that even though we were there sharing as speakers, and I mean, we had a super lineup. We had a professional lineup, including Miss Louise Freeman. You may know Miss Anthea Smith, and past Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ingrid Moses Catliff. So wealth of information to be shared with these young ladies at quite a molding stage of their life. Overall, I think it was remarkable.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jovan, not to cut you off, but I think that's so important. We might want to find another way of incorporating it with our young men. You know, simple things like learning how to tie a tie and walking on the correct side of the street. Just, you know, being a gentleman. I think these are skills that we need to pass on. So maybe someone watching will want to pick that task up.
I agree with you on that. Representation matters. But again, overall, the event was sponsored by Campbell's and Najigos, among many others. And again, it was just a beautiful space to share with the young minds in the BVI. Viewers, we've got a lot more for you right after this commercial break.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
We can all recall the Premier's colossal promise on 1,000 jobs in 1,000 days.
Of course.
Huge, huge undertaking. But we are seemingly one step closer to that initiative with the Back to Sea program approved by Cabinet just recently to be launched by June 30th of this year. The program will also see the establishment of a referral registration program for persons who have intentions to register in the marine industry. I'm very happy to see this.
Yes, it's a wonderful initiative.
The marine industry has, over the years, we've seen the potential. It is a multi-million-dollar industry, and what we find is it's infiltrated by the expatriate community. Not a lot of local
Correct.
inclusion. So the 1,000 jobs by 1,000 days program essentially is supposed to be catering to our BVI landers, our belongers. For too long have they complained about not getting the
first
opportunity.
preference, yes.
Right. So in this instance, they will be given first preference. Another thing I'm happy to report on is the fact that the industry or the initiative, whether training or the services provided, it will be subsidized by up to $500,000 per financial year. And Ron, all in all, again, it really comes back to the fact that we're paying attention to the economies that matter. The marine industry, we've seen, especially post-Irma, the resilience of the economy.
Indeed.
It was definitely the first to bounce back, and after that, we see our hotels coming up on board as well. But ultimately, again, it's about providing opportunities for our locals to be a part of the economies that sustain us.
Well, of course, Jovan, we are known to be the sailing capital of the world. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of opportunities within the marine industry. As a matter of fact, a couple of my students who graduated this year have hopes of venturing into that industry. So I'm glad to see that we're putting stuff into perspective and really tackling, and also too, what's fascinating about it is we're paying attention to careers that are not, again, usually glorified, and they're not usually, given much attention.
Right.
So that's the key right there.
I know at HLSCC, I think post-Irma, we had a 4-week free course that ultimately catered to the rebuilding of the marine industry. So I'm very happy now to see that there will be specialization provided. Of course, it's going to be a collaborative effort. We see the training service providers coming on board. The Virgin Islands Shipping Registry as well will be responsible for collecting information as to who's responsible and how much the programs will need to be subsidized. So again, great news coming out from the government.
Absolutely.
The 1,000 jobs in 1,000 days initiative will soon begin with the Back to Sea initiative.
All right, and on some very sad news today, a local boat captain at the moorings has reportedly died on Sunday around 1 p.m. He apparently drowned. Vice President of the Virgin Islands Search and Rescue, Phil Aspinall, in a statement said he was at work and sadly his guests had to witness that. Now, Jovan, he has been identified as 27-year-old Oliver Whately out of the United Kingdom, and he moved to the Virgin Islands for work. And it's funny that we were just talking about
The marine industry.
and the sea, but I really, apart from it being quite sad, and we've heard cases of this before, I really want to take the time to commend the Virgin Islands Search and Rescue. They put their life on the line every day to save persons.
24 hours support
24
and
hours a
protection at
day.
sea.
And as unfortunate as this situation is, thankfully they were able to retrieve the body and tried their best to take him to the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital. Unfortunately, he was unable to be resuscitated, but at least his family has some level of closure.
It's very unfortunate,
Yes.
and at this time, we just want to extend our deepest condolences
To his
his
family,
family
yes.
and his friends. 284 News would like to take this time to express generally our condolences to all those persons who would have lost their loved ones over this past week. You are in our thoughts and our prayers.
Yeah, so that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284 BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Javon Wilson.
This news segment is proudly sponsored by As You Like It Hair and Barbershop, located in Cito's, right upstairs of Cito's in the Mill Mall. Be sure to join us every Tuesday and Friday at 3 p.m., where we go live and direct from our 284 Media studios, giving you honest and impartial news right here on 284 News. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you... When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.